This is a great question worth thinking about a little bit more. I had earlier said that many biblical scholars date the text of Job to the post-exilic period, that is, after 539 BCE. And this commenter asks, quite astutely, how then are we to read the references to Job in the book of Ezekiel, which was composed decades before this post-exilic date? Let me start with a bit of an analogy and then work backwards to an answer to your question. I absolutely love the 2017 Guy Ritchie film, King Arthur. It's a big budget, epic fantasy film, absolutely astounding visuals, but with that Guy Ritchie heart, that quick-witted characters, lots of charm, fast editing style, constant motion all over the place, very personable, in-your-face camera at all times. It's an absolutely wonderful film. Eric Bana's in it. He's got a sword. Charlie Hunnam's in it. He's got his shirt off. Jimon Hansu is in it. He's doing anything. It doesn't matter. It's automatically a wonderful film. Now, obviously, there are references to the character of King Arthur and to the narrative surrounding King Arthur that long predate the 2017 film. And also, obviously, just because those references exist doesn't mean that we can't confidently date the 2017 film to 2017. References to earlier iterations of a story do not preclude the possibility of later iterations of a story. Similarly, when biblical scholars are dating the book of Job, they're just dating that iteration of the story that's preserved for us in the canonical Hebrew Bible or Old Testament. They're not attempting to date the origination of these stories when folk stories about this character named Job first began. And as a result, the dating of the book of Job doesn't preclude the possibilities of earlier references to folk tales associated with a person named Job. Earlier references to the character of Job or to narratives associated with Job probably have strong thematic similarities with the eventual iteration of the story that we have preserved for us in the Bible, just like earlier iterations of the stories of King Arthur probably have some thematic similarities in common with the 2017 film, although in both cases, neither of these narratives are identical. So to most directly answer your question, we should read these earlier references to Job as references to earlier iterations of folk stories concerning the character of Job, which probably have some thematic similarities in common with the text that we eventually get, but are probably not identical. The version of the story of Job that we have preserved for us in the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament can be confidently dated to the post-exilic period on the basis of its language, its theology, and some of its intertextual references. But that version of the story is not the first version of the story, nor in many ways is it the last version of the story, as we continue to tell this story and many other biblical stories today.